I don't want to be just another voice talking about what I have to talk about today. Obviously, there are some very serious things happening. As we speak, my children are in a van heading to the Twin Cities area of Minnesota. So I have a little bit of a vested interest in the things we're talking about, a little bit of a different perspective maybe in that regards. But I want to talk about something very serious, and that is our desire for justice. I don't want to be another person. Everybody's talked about what they think happened or whatnot. I haven't seen the video. I don't intend on seeing a video. I'm not. I don't have a strong enough stomach, I don't think, to sit there and watch somebody in the process of dying. And so I don't plan on ever being an informed opinion on what happened there. And I don't think the world needs another informed opinion. There have been plenty of them stated, and so I don't think mine will add anything to the conversation in that regards. But I want to talk about justice because it's something we all want. I think that's evident. And that's not a bad thing. Justice is a part of our human makeup. From the very beginning, here's an innocent man killed. And God says the blood of Abel cries from the ground. And justice is a part of humanity. We want justice. And God speaks highly of justice. It's not a bad thing. But so don't draw any conclusions about where I'm going with this. As I watched a little bit of news, not much, and scrolled through some things, I saw a story that it satisfied in one way. It satisfied me that some justice had been done. I watched as four members of a media crew belonging to CNN were arrested in Minnesota. Apparently they were where they weren't supposed to be, and there was some confusion about that all, and they got arrested. And there was, whether I should be proud of this or not, or that's a different story. But it's this human nature of me. I was satisfied. There was a feeling of justice that was served. Because as I watched this, the video clip of it here in the studio, here are the network people are bemoaning the fact that the First Amendment rights have been denied them. And that was not it wasn't the fact that men had been arrested, because they have families and things like that, and that's traumatic no matter what. But it was the satisfaction that here people who have been so on one side against First Amendment rights are feeling a little taste of what it's like. It was satisfying. Now, the thought immediately came into my mind as they were sitting there and bemoaning the same police actions that they thought were so great when hair salons were, proprietors were being arrested and things. Oh, they liked it then. And the thought of Martin Niemöller came to my mind. He was a Lutheran priest in the 40s in Germany, and he wrote a poem that you've heard. He said, "First they came for the communists, but I was not communist, so I said nothing. And then they came for the Jews, and I wasn't a Jew, so I said nothing." And he goes on through this list of people that they came for, talking about the Nazis, and I said nothing. And then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. And I thought about this with this incident that I was watching. I thought, you've let all these other people, be harassed for 2 months, And now you want them to feel sorry for you, and that's probably not going to happen. Probably no one is going to bemoan the fact that a small crew from CNN was denied their First Amendment rights. Now, as I thought about it, well, those are First Amendment rights, and they do have them, and probably freedom of the press is not something we should be trampling on. That's not going to have a good outcome either. But even still, there was a little satisfaction. Well, my thoughts turned a little bit, and I want you to just put that over here because we will come back to it. My thoughts turned a little bit throughout the evening, and I was thinking about one death, or a few deaths, what that has meant in the history of the world. The Revolutionary War wasn't one death, but the Boston Massacre. When you hear the Boston Massacre, you think of this huge, violent, Minnesota-looking thing that happened. But actually, the Boston Massacre, it was just a handful of people that were shot. 3 were killed instantly, just citizens, and 2 later died of wounds. But that touched off the American Revolution. Just a small number of deaths. One death, the Archduke Ferdinand, touched off World War I, and that had legs on into World War II. And it just, think of what one death does, and we've seen what one death here has caused across the country. And of course, you think of what one death did in reference to Christ. It was a revolution that touched the world and continues to. Just the things that were set off, not just a revolution against a nation, not a revolution against a government, not a revolution against the establishment or against a particular law, what have you, but a revolution against the entire order of human nature, a revolution against dark forces beyond where we live, a revolution against death itself. What an upheaval caused by the death of an innocent, specifically. It is deaths of innocent people that really spark humanity. And here was a death of an innocent man, Jesus Christ, that changed life as we know it forever. Except for one problem as we encounter and juxtapose these things. There's a lot of similarities, but there's one major difference. And that is that Christ's death was done for the purpose of extending an injustice. It was not for the purpose of justice. It was to give an injustice to people. It was to extend redemption for people who didn't deserve it. Think of that. What Christ did in his death. That this was a revolution meant to give a undeserving, unworthy people a second shot. And I want to bring it all the way back to what we were talking about as you and I look at the world around us and what's going on, and we want justice. And we're satisfied with justice when we see it. And here this guy's been arrested, and we're, yes, now the other 3, and that those feelings of justice. And I'm not saying that justice shouldn't be done. I'm not saying that those men shouldn't pay whatever price they deserve. That my thoughts go beyond their specific situation at all. My thoughts go to us as humans. Not to be so anxious for the justice. Let God deal with the justice. We We want that justice, and it's, as I say, it's a part of our human nature. But we are so much more willing to extend justice to other people than to ourselves. So the next time that you are happy that justice gets done, whether it be to some officers or to CNN or whoever you are really excited about justice being done to, remember that a great injustice was given to you.